17 in Dallas, Texas. My old pal, Mr. Greg Schneider, BattleTestedSolutions.com. How you been, man?
I've been good, thank you.
What's going on?
Well, a lot's going on in the world, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And one of my jobs is to stay on top of what's going on across the world.
So tell us what you guys do.
Okay, so essentially we provide security management consulting on a general basic level, threat assessment, risk assessments, that kind of thing. I'll do
Right.
physical security surveys. Then I have an intelligence management division. So that in that case, I generally present to small, medium-sized business owners and help them when they're operating in emerging markets. There's small companies that really need that security assistance
Right.
and intelligence assistance. So if a company gets a threat or there's some type of activity that's directed at that company, I help develop the intelligence process for them.
Okay.
And the third thing I do is tactical response training, and that's very much like active shooter training.
Yes, active shooter, so important
I
now.
spoke to you about that previously.
Right.
Yes.
Now, let's talk about all three of those. Let's go backwards. So we're going to talk about the active shooter training. Are people hesitating like they used to and saying, well, I'm not going to have a shooter here? I don't. Or are they saying, you know what, Greg's at my door, I got to do this? Are you finding less resistance?
A bit less resistance, but sometimes it's like too much information, or a little information is worse than no information at all
Yeah,
in some
that's true.
cases. So I found more and more companies want to get something done, but not often have all the resources to do it and may not get the buy-in. And it's very specific company to company, organization to organization.
Right.
If it's an office park, it's one thing. If it's a retail site, it's something else where you have people.
Well, that's
coming in-
difficult. The pier in San Francisco.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
There's one landlord, but 50 different shops, an individual.
right.
How do you train all those people?
Yeah.
They need to be trained as a unit
Exactly.
because they're in the same physical space, but different
Right.
companies. Now, is it the money? It used to be the money. It's really not the money anymore, right? This
It's
stuff
more-
is not expensive.
It's liability. It's the worry about liability.
So they think they're
Right.
going to be liable if you train them not to get shot.
Right. It's
Okay.
And what's security going to do?
Yeah.
Oh no, we shouldn't. You might hear run, hide, fight.
Right.
It's just one of many types of solutions to get pushed out. Well, we don't want our security guards really fighting. What do we do? What do we do?
That's
with
right.
Security guards? And there's so many elements involved in an active shooter. Your first responders aren't necessarily your security responders. So your on-site responders, and you have your first responders, and it goes up the whole
Yeah.
chain of command there, and things can get sideways real fast.
So emerging markets, that's
Yeah.
interesting. I mean, you
Yeah.
got a small. I'm glad you're working with smaller businesses.
Yeah.
Because they're usually precluded for these things, right?
Right.
Because I don't know why. It's just because the big company comes in, it's going to cost $1 million, and they think
Yeah.
they can't afford it, but you can't afford not to do it. Tell me about maybe some kind of solution you made for a client in an emerging market. When you say emerging
Okay.
market, it could be something overseas, it could be something where nobody's gone before, right?
Yeah, chiefly it's overseas, smaller countries that are on the cusp of even getting to be more democratic.
Okay.
So you'll have these small, medium-sized companies, some in the tech sector, some even in pharmaceutical sector, that are looking to take advantage of that. They don't have the full resources of a security department, so something I would provide is like an advance. Like I will give like a virtual advance for the clients that
Okay.
they're traveling over. If it's in countries where there's elevated threat or risk, then I'll partner with companies I know in that particular country that can provide some type of assistance. If it's one of those go to hell strategies of medical evac,
Right.
that kind of thing, we pre-plan for that.
Excellent. What do your clients worry most about in general? What's the a few years ago it was stalkers, and now it's active shooters. I mean, what's the big worry people think about?
Well, it does differ industry to industry, whatever the market segment the clients are in. It's really just being unprepared. Well,
Oh, okay.
Just generally
Well,
unprepared.
that's a
And
good
then
thing
that-
to worry about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it could be many things. It could be their online posture.
Right.
It could be again traveling abroad with no idea where they are or what type of resources are at their disposal, or the types of threats or risks that are out there. So that's a worry many have, and that's why they call me.
Give me an idea of a type of client you have.
Okay, so type of client I have, one in particular is on the finance sector. Works with has money, works with a lot of money,
Right.
and seeks out where can he invest that money. So in that case, I do a lot of the background and due diligence, if you will, of where he's
Yeah,
going.
due diligence. That's a good way to describe it. It's a different way to describe it because you will be liable if you don't do your due diligence. I mean,
Yeah,
and so many companies say, I'll Google it, everything's fine, but you got to
yeah.
do that.
Yeah, we look at risk and what can we do with risk. We could accept it, reject it, push it off to someone else. So many organizations are willing to accept more and more risk, or we won't do this action or preventive measure just because we don't either have the money for it or we don't want to
Right.
rub people the wrong way or something like that. So we will accept a particular type of risk, and we see that every
Yeah.
day. Even if you ever go to any type of site, you see maybe the security staff aren't that well presented or
Right.
prepared. Well, we're accepting the fact nothing's going to happen, or it's going to be a low
That's a
probability
very good way to
event.
put it. Yeah, they do accept a great amount of risk just in say, well, if it didn't happen, it's not going to happen, and I'll deal with it when it does happen. But
Yeah.
you could be negligent, and then your insurance doesn't cover it, and then you got a problem.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
keeps Greg Schneider awake at night? What are you worried about?
Well, I'm worried a lot about how people get their information. So we talk about radicalization. Now, in the intelligence management service, which I provide, I look at a lot of terrorist groups, and not only that, but their support systems.
Okay.
What funnels?
Right.
Essentially, I'm speaking Wednesday on this very fact.
Okay.
So, like the support base of where radical groups draw from, or the almost 0 to 24 hours of how quickly people can get radicalized
Right.
and take action. So there were times where people get very angry or motivated about a certain type of situation, but they don't have the capability of doing anything about it. They're kind of on the fence.
Right.
So I hate this group. I don't like this group. I want to promote a particular type of agenda. Now people are taking more action. That's what kind of keeps me up at night.
Do you think that some of these groups are as organized as a corporate GSOC? Are they getting there?
There was a time really when I would say yes in terms of the structure of certain organized groups.
Right.
Okay, they're even compartmentalized, where you have your logistics people, support people, intelligence division, then your actors.
All the people that live, and then the guys that blow themselves up. Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
Exactly. So, yes, as in terms of having their own GSOC close.
Right.
Again, depends where in the world they are operating out of, but some of their protective measures for their own group are quite impressive and sophisticated.
Very interesting. I mean, 80% of what the terrorists get about us is open source.
That's true.
All I got to do is watch Security Guy TV, and some of you countries do listen. I've seen it on my demographic, so they could just be mimicking and copying organizational skills and stuff. So it's important we got to stay ahead. Greg Schneider, BattleTestedSolutions.com. Thanks for coming on Security Guy
Thank
TV.
you, Jack.
Good to see you again, as always. Stay tuned for another show in about 5 minutes here at ASIS 2017, Dallas, Texas, and SecurityGuyTV.com. Thanks.